Hi everyone, and welcome back to Tea with Tanya. And tonight's special guest is Sabrina Bewitched. You might have seen a few wee posts about it. So we're going to cut right to the chase and try and make it short as possible. Usually these wee interviews go on for around half an hour. So I really would just give you the heads up. If you've got half an hour to kill and you want to find out more about Sabrina Bewitched, then you know sit down, tune in, and listen. So we're going to connect to Sabrina right now. So here we go.
Hello.
Hi, Sabrina.
Yes.
So
Welcome there.
we'll try this again. Our second attempt at it. So we'll start all over. So
Yeah, no
um,
worries.
why don't you tell us how you got the name Sabrina Bewitched?
Sabrina Bewitched, as I said, loads of people seem to think my name came from the show, like Sabrina the Teenage Witch, because as soon as I say it, they're kind of like, oh, Sabrina, I love Melissa Joan Hart and all this here.
I was
Uh,
guilty. I was really guilty of that. I thought that's where you were influenced by.
no, a lot of people do, and people like mishear me and like continuously just call me Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and I'm kind of like, okay, like fair dues. Whenever I was a kid, I was obsessed with Pokemon, and there was a character in it called Sabrina. And I kind of like she was one of my favorite characters growing up, and it kind of became like a favorite female name of mine. So whenever I was picking my drag name, I was like, I'll go with Sabrina. And at the time, I was like obsessed with the Queen and RuPaul's Drag Race, Sharon Needles. So it's kind of like I want to go with like a spooky kind of vibe and something witchy. So Bewitched just kind of became the second name.
Do you know what? See, you just hit a nail on the head there for me that I even forgot about. See, when you were saying about picking your drag name, I actually had thought about the name Sabrina myself years ago. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, years ago. It's just really funky name. So, um,
Yeah.
when you started drag, what was your inspiration, or did you have a big support with your family and stuff, or how did you get into it?
Well, whenever I started drag, I kind of thought, how can I make money look fabulous and let my family down at the same time? And it was the first thing. No, whenever I started drag, I kind of growing up, I was always like quite artsy and like loved doing school plays and like anything like on stage. And I used to go out in a taxi a lot with my dad whenever I was a kid, and I met like all sorts of different people. And one of them was a drag queen called Felicity, and I always thought she was quite
Oh,
cool.
Felicity
But
Be Wild.
Felicity Wild, yes. Uh, but I ended up getting into it because my best friend Mark, he kept quoting from the show RuPaul's Drag Race, and I didn't watch it at the time, but eventually I kind of caved in and was like, right, okay, I want to see what this is about. And I started watching it and was like, this seems fun, I kind of want to try it. So I ended up doing Maverick's open stage. It's my debut in drag, and kept doing like kind of like free shows and stuff, and then ended up getting to do Sunday Bingo, and the rest's kind of just history.
And how would you say to anybody listening? How was it getting like your foot in the door when you were starting out in drag? Was it easy? Did you find it difficult or?
Uh, it can be kind of difficult to get noticed. The only thing you can really do is keep putting yourself out there as much as you can. Go on nights out and drag, and if there's any open stages or anything, do that or message. Not even just bars that necessarily do drag shows, but just message bars to see if they'd be interested in having, some sort of show. For me personally, as I said, I done the open stage a few times, and there happened to be one night Crystal Starr was down, and I think she videoed one of my performances, and she showed them to Tina Leg's Tantrum, and I ended up getting a phone call to come and do bingo, which was really, really exciting.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's kind of how I got my like my foot in the door, so to speak.
So you've won a couple of contests even in your couple of years doing drag. Obviously, Opportunity Frocks was one of the first ones you won. How did you feel about the whole going into Opportunity Frocks? How prepared were you?
With Opportunity Frocks, from like as soon as I kind of researched it and tried to watch as many videos and footage as I could from it to be like, right, what can you kind of expect and what can you prepare for? Uh, so for Tea with Teen, I was like, right, I need to think of jokes in my head, like how can I kind of be funny and get, because that's like your introduction. So it's like how can I kind of get the audience on side straight away. So we come up with like the pouring the vodka into a glass and knocking it back. It was just water. I could not knock back that much alcohol, but like I filled up a bottle with water, a Glenn's bottle with water, and pretended to knock it back and stuff. But for the performance actually was changed so many times. Originally, I had this concept for like this big weird outfit with like lots of masks and stuff, but then I was like, I don't even know how the fuck I'm gonna make that. So coming up to it was just kind of like the iPod thing kind of that idea
Yes,
kind of
yes.
imagined. Yeah. I was for me coming up with performances like right. Well, I want to do a song that's going to please the crowd, but I also want to show a bit of comedy and a bit of lip syncing and a bit, kind of like a bit of everything in one number. Uh, so that's how I came up with it. You can't really prepare for the nerves and stuff on the night, and I was up first for every round, so I was like shiting myself. I was kind of like the guinea pig because like it's if you're waiting backstage, you wait for other people to come around. You're like, oh, how was it? How was it? What are the crowd like? I didn't have that, so I was like, fuck, what if I go out and get like egged or something? But it turned out to be a really really it was a really positive experience. Everyone backstage was lovely, and yeah, but most people were kind of quiet due to nerves, I'd say.
Well,
But it was really
I remember that was probably one of the only opportunity frocks that I missed. I had to be somewhere else, and I was raging. I missed it. But when the results came through, and I can't even remember who said Sabrina had won or something. But obviously, like a preconception, I had like weighed up a couple of winners in my head. Your name obviously wasn't one of them because I didn't know you that well. But
yeah.
how do you think everybody took you as the winner of just out of the blue?
The response that I got from winning was, really positive. There's no one. I didn't really get much like negativity from it.
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously different. I mean, it doesn't matter what the competition is, and it doesn't matter who's in it. Whoever wins, there's always gonna be people that go, "Oh yeah, like I'm really happy." And there's gonna be people that go, "No, I wanted such and such." You know what I mean? That's no matter what the outcome is. But me personally, I didn't have. To be honest, it didn't sink in at all that I'd won. Honestly, just was, I think somebody said to me that night, "Oh, you didn't seem very happy," and I was like, I didn't understand what was going on. Like they called my name out, and my mom was like running up on the stage, and my nanny was running up on the stage, and fucking my friends were screaming. It didn't register in my brain what had happened.
Just
Uh,
the overwhelming shock.
it took, I want to say, it took about a week to kind of realize what you like. Oh right, I've won. Like, it was so surreal, but no, the experience, like the reaction from other people anyway, everyone was kind of nice and congratulated me and stuff. There was no like hostility
Well,
that
and
I
a lot of people probably don't realize Sabrina is on like we're talking about frocks here. The day of frocks, people probably just think the drag queens, they rock up about 8 o'clock at night and whoa, it's ready to go performance time. But it's an all day bloody event of
yeah,
up early in the morning, get there for 11 or 12 to do the sound check,
yeah,
rehearsals, running orders, everything, and then you're worrying about your makeup, and you're on your feet for about 15 hours, solid.
before that. The putting your performance together and getting costumes ready, and then even on the day, I think it makes your nerves worse because you're backstage and you're hearing everyone's tracks and their music, and you're like, oh shit, like I need to change mine. That's so much better. You know what I mean? You kind of get nervous by what other people are doing. You're like, what the fuck she got planned, or what are they doing, or
I
they
think
on
I
the same
think
spot.
by
Like,
you can probably say the same, and other people listening that's probably competed in opportunity frocks over the years. It's like that you're on the running for up frocks for a few months or a couple of months, and you're doing nothing but stressing mentally, night in, night out, going, "What can I do for this? How can I perfect this?" And you're thinking about it for months, and then the day of up
yeah,
frocks comes, you're like, "Thank God it's here. It'll all be over by the end of the
yeah.
night."
With me in competitions, I'm stressed from the whole like the preparation for it. I'm stressed on the night, but see once like the performance and all like the work part is done,
Yeah,
even before the crowd announcing and winners replacement, that's whenever I just kind of like. I think because I never go into it going, I'm going to win, I've got this. I kind of just go, we'll see what happens. So as long, I'm happy with the outcome of a competition as long as what I intended to do went across well. So I only get upset if I went out on stage and the fucking outfit fell apart or my iPad didn't work or, the audience didn't get what it did. Do you know what I mean? That's whenever I get upset. So after I've done all my work and it kind of goes the way I wanted it to, I'm like, right, well, I can do no more than that. And that's kind of, I think for me personally, with the stress, like just melts away. But competitions they're fun and they're exciting, but they're so fucking stressful to prepare for.
they are, and so you were speaking about your like outfits, sir. So where have you ever like decided or got your inspiration from to be? I've noticed it's always very colorful with Sabrina. It's always
Yeah.
you wouldn't see anybody else like Sabrina. So where's your influence from?
My influences range from a bunch of different things. I love one of my favorite queens, like aesthetically wise, is Violet Chachki. I think her looks are pretty amazing. That's where I get a lot of like my wig
Ah, okay.
ideas. I love a good 1920s, anything like a pin curl or a finger wave, a love for a wig. For suits, I'm kind of like I want to be seen from the back row on stage. So anything like holographic, like my cat suits and stuff that I always wear, like anything shiny and sparkly, like I'm like, yeah, I'm ready for the stage. Uh, Outfits. Marky Mark recently made like a dress for me that I haven't wore yet because I'm like waiting to debut it, but it's kind of like a sheer purple lavender thing, and it's very like Joan Crawford looking some style.
So
I don't know.
if you were to like every drag queen probably gets categorized into like a comedy queen or a fishy queen, where would you sort of put Sabrina in a box? What sort of category are you in?
I'd say like I'm kind of comedy. I'm definitely not fishy. Something smells fishy, but like I'm definitely not like I'm not passable like daytime woman. I don't. I don't know. I love doing comedy. I kind of like trying different things. I done a burlesque number a lot of weeks back because I was like, may as well for the gig.
Oh, right,
I
right.
love, I love, I don't know anything. Comedy, dancing, music, whatever. I think that's the thing with drag and my eyes. I'm like, if I put myself in this box and say, right, I'm the comedy queen, it kind of stops you from exploring
It
other elements
does.
of. And
It
for me, it would
Yeah.
kind of get boring after a while. Like I'm like, no, I want to try this makeup look or I want to try this performance on it. Because I mean, worst case scenario, it doesn't go well. Oh well, you learn from your mistakes, you know.
Yeah. So we're gonna switch it up a wee bit now. We're gonna I've got a question here and it's an on the spot question. So here we go. If you were trapped in a bunker for 2 days and you were in it with three drag queens, who would it be?
Uh, well, straight off the bat, I have to say our Candice, Miss Candy Carousel, because she's one of my best friends.
You need
And
a
if I'm
bit of
stuck
entertainment in there.
yeah, entertainment, and plus Candy will probably have vodka that she smuggled from somewhere, so the day will pass by. Uh, Other than that, I'd say probably Pearl because he's fit as a guy. So if you're in a bunker for 2 days, you may as well get your hoe. Uh, Third, oh fuck, third.
Well, what about
Uh,
somebody sensible?
Somebody's yeah, someone could like hmm, I don't know. I want to. It's so hard to pick a third one. I'm like the first two is pretty simple, but I don't know. I guess someone probably could like if we're in a bunker. Are we allowed to go out for food, or is like that kind of
No, you're in a bunker, you've no mobile phones, and it's somebody's face you have to look at for 2 days solid.
oh fuck? So what? I think I'd bring Latrice just because every time she laughs, I piss myself. So Latrice
Okay.
would love me. She'd get us all singing church songs, and I'm like, oh, she's a wee gay.
You'll be happy on laughter. So
That's cute. Okay.
so so is this Sabrina, is she done with contest, or how was your experience in Limerick, or if another competition popped up, say this summer, would you think about it, or
Uh, well, I'm on season 10 of Drag Race. No, I'm only joking. No, that's like pipe dream. I don't. I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm done with competitions. I think if something else does pop up, I might do it. It really just depends on like the time and the preparation for the if it's the right time because I don't like to go in kind of half-assed. If I'm going into something, I like to be kind of prepared. But yeah, the experience with Limerick was actually really fun because there's a lot of people like, oh, the atmosphere backstage, like it's so stressful, it's so scary. My experience was like really positive. Everyone was like really sweet. They're kind of really helpful. But the competition was mad. Like the twists and stuff in it were shotgun, like people getting eliminated and stuff. I was like, oh fuck, this is this is really stressful. But it was good because before Limerick, I'd never made outfits or anything
yeah.
like before, and it got me into doing that. Like I made a weird three-headed look and like a
Yes, the wee pink number, it was actually quite stunning.
let's see, I made like a sea monster look, so it inspired me to be more creative. And recently I've started learning how to sew, so hopefully I'll be able to make my own outfits soon. So it's kind of got me going in that sense, which
Yeah.
is good.
And your mum was a nervous wreck. I was standing with her half the night, and she's always totally behind you, no matter what you go into. So it's good to have that support from your family.
My mum, my dad, and my granny, like they're all super. Like anywhere they go, they've whipped out the phone and they're showing photos of me and drag. And stuff. My nanny does it everywhere. Like we could be sitting anywhere. We were sitting in like Nando's once, and she stopped the waitress and was like, "Do you know Sabrina Bewitched?" She thought she was talking about like Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and I just didn't know where to look. I was so
No.
scundered. But it's nice to have it. Like I hear stories so many times, if not just drag queens, but a lot of gay people, like people in the LGBT community, even over here, and even friends of mine who don't have that support base from their family.
I'm
And
I,
it's really,
I'm actually
it's
sitting
really,
thinking here. I was sorry for interrupting. I was looking through my questions, Sarah, and I was like sitting thinking. You have probably worked with probably the most people going on the scene because you've done your wee bits in Maverick and Boombox or whatever and Sunday Service, and then you've worked with Glitzy and Trudy and Tina and all the girls. So you've got round everybody. Is there any um yeah. So, what's sort of the difference? Where would you say, how does the clubs work differently for you? Do you find anything different in one club than the other?
I don't think. I mean, in terms of clubs and performance, I think a lot of it can come from the night. If you're doing a show like on a Sunday, for example, like evening, you can get away with doing more comedy numbers or burlesque, or maybe doing a slow song, something people are going to sit and listen to. Uh, but in my experience, like I've done Glitzy's show and I've done Fuck Yeah Friday with Rusty and stuff.
Yeah.
And if I try something like that, people just kind of start, they're like, what the fuck is she doing? Do you know what I mean? Like Friday night, it's like kind of keep it dancey, keep it pumped, because people are just out to party and they're drunk and not really paying attention, to what you're doing.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
kind of have a rave up kind of thing. Uh, but no, the experience with any time I've been on performing, I haven't had anything negative. It's always been really, really fun. There was one time, oh god, I was doing I had to change one of my tracks last minute. Can't remember why. I think I couldn't find that's what it was. I couldn't find one of my props, and I changed it to one of the. How do you call them? It's the duo on YouTube, Queens of Pop. I done one of their songs, and I forgot about some of the lyrics in it. It was like a Beyonce parody, and I went up and done it. Was up singing, and I went over to this woman, and she was like, "Do you not think that song's really racist?" And I was like, "Fuck, fuck, fuck."
Oh shit.
I was so stunned. I was like, "She hates me." She's like giving me dirty looks the entire performance, but I got through it and learned my lesson. But no, like any time I play a performance, it's fun. Doesn't matter whether it's what nightclub. I don't really go into the
Yeah.
whole like.
So,
Yeah.
what would you say? Like, I suppose another question I could ask you is, who's probably surprised you, say, in the last year, like up and coming? Who's developed, the best in your eyes, or
I think it's developed a bit. Uh, one thing I've noticed recently. There's so many new queens constantly coming out of the woodwork, especially with Opportunity Frocks. I was looking at the current contestants, and there's some really fierce queens. I'm so glad I'm not competing this
I
year.
would not like to have Tina or Glenn's jaw picking.
My thing is, well, be giving everyone like full marks. I couldn't. No, I'd be like, no, I couldn't be a judge. Who do I think screw? There's so many. Yeah, like Belfast, all over Northern Ireland and Ireland. I think there's some really, really fierce queens.
Well,
One queen,
what about
one queen to get wowed by a lot of times after she comes out on stage, which is over in Liverpool at the minute, is probably Azura. I think Azura is like,
yeah?
I watched a lot of her Sunday Bingo performances, and the looks that she comes out with and her numbers are fucking phenomenal. And I see that she's doing really well over in Liverpool, so
Oh,
proud of her.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know you do sort of miss Azura when she was down at the bingo regularly. So speaking of the bingo, have you any fun stories or have you any memorable experiences when you have been down at the Sunday bingo show? I'm sure there's been some sort of carry on up in the dressing room that you want to share with everybody
Oh, fuck.
without
There's
getting in
like,
trouble.
uh, there's always just like, there's always banter up in the dressing rooms. I think a lot of the times, like, I don't know. There's with me, Plata, and Tina, and whoever's on. There's like a good atmosphere, and that's one of the things I do love specifically about bingo, because you have that good atmosphere backstage whenever you're going on and performing. You're in a good form, and it translates to the audience. I feel like if you were stuck backstage and maybe weren't getting on with everybody and weren't kind of feeling it, it shows. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
I can't think of any specific time. Sometimes in the dressing room, it's like there'll be like a leak or something from the ceiling. It's like a fucking rush to hide your makeup and your fucking wigs.
That fucking leak has been there for about fucking 6 years. It's still not fixed.
Gang. But no, it's always a fun night backstage and in the air bingo room.
So, if Sabrina was to be given the chance to, say, host our own night, what would you do with it? Would it be, like a karaoke night? Would it be men only? Would it be a quiz? Would it be, what would you do with it?
My own night. I don't know. I'd probably want like kind of a cabaret show. I'd love to have a few like up, especially new queens. I'd love to have them on. I'd love to. I love doing games with the audience because I do some private bookings, and I find like doing different party games with the audience, like getting them up and sticking a wig on them and lip syncing, or doing other games that we do in bingo, like name that tune and stuff. It's a good way to interact, and it's also a good way to take the piss out of people. So probably do something like that, just a wee cabaret show.
Yeah. So, you do a bit of singing yourself. Would you say you would prefer like the singing side of drag, or is that just when you feel like the performance needs to go that way?
See, and whenever outside of drag, like my regular like weekly thing is I'm in a band.
Oh right, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, outside of drag, like I sing along with like two other people in a band, and we kind of go about mainly in Northern Ireland, but we play a bunch of different bars. And doing that, I think that actually kind of helps with drag quite a lot, because if I'm watching them do a song, or if I'm performing a song, for example, you can kind of see how the audience reacting to it. So you're like, well, what's getting people up on the floor? What are people not really listening to? Or what are people seeming to enjoy? So if I'm like, for example, like 90s songs, good 90s dance songs like Superstar and Two Times and stuff like that always seem to kind of like, even songs like Grueling on a River and stuff, they always kind of get a crowd going. So I'm like, I'll save something like that for the second half if I'm doing like a show at bingo, because I know people are drunk, they're wanting to go out and party. So if you play something that's going to get them going, a lot of times I prefer to sing them, just because I don't rate myself as a strong dancing queen. I can kind of dance a bit to get me through
here,
a number,
you and me
but
both.
I'm not, like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's queens like, for example, Paletta Stiletta and Tina Likes Tantrum, who can go out and fucking slay the stage, and like I can't do that if I try to dance too much. It's the same. Like I look like I'm washing the Wendy's and I have like cerebral palsy. It's fucking. I don't look well at all. But yeah, it kind of. Plus, it's just fun singing. Like I've been singing ever since I was a wee kid, so it's any time to do it on stage as well is good fun. But yeah, it adds to the performance.
And do you think, is there anybody like from the Dublin scene that you really aspire to, or is anybody really just catch your eye every time they're out and about?
People on the Dublin scene. Whenever I done DHD, I got to meet some really, really lovely girls. A lot of them are really nice. I think one of the ones that stood out to me as being really nice, and another a fantastic singer, is Mars. He done Opportunity Frocks this year as well, and I really enjoyed his stuff. At DHD as well, he was fantastic. He put together this big like Lady Gaga montage, which was fab. But a lot of the Dublin queens, I've been to Dublin to one of the shows once, like to see it properly, and I was blown away by like Victoria's Secret and Paul Ryder and Regina George and stuff, who's stunning in person.
Do you know what I was sitting thinking there earlier? You just mentioned Paul Ryder. Back when Ringmasters was like a 10 or 12 week contest, I was sitting thinking, who would be perfect for that? Sabrina Bewitched, because I could picture you doing something completely different every week. Where it was like an elimination sort of contest.
Yeah, and they had like the confessionals and stuff, and I was being candy sandwich someone out, and I was like, oh fuck. It's even worse. Like in Trudy's, we got filmed like doing me confessionals, but then in Dublin, they're like, she's fucking shite, and I'm glad she's away home. And
I was never so. When I done Ringmasters in Cycle 5, I was never so blown away by anything about the fierceness of it and the intensity, and I was even lucky to make it the second week, to be perfectly honest. I was just out of my water. I shouldn't have been doing it, but it was a learning curve. So I was thinking, likes the Ringmasters, I think it'd be a perfect contender,
I'd be up for it. I'd love to do it. The most stressful thing with those competitions that, like, we had to do it in Trudy's Drag Race as well, is see the lip syncing for your life.
Oh my god!
It's like being on Drag Race or something, because your heart just goes up in your throat. I fucking can't stand it. And that moment you're kind of like, anything I can do to stay in the competition. But that's always my part. I'm like, as long as I don't have to lip sync at the end of the night. But then, for example, this year I had to do it every single fucking week, and was like, it was a nightmare. But
how did you do in the Drag Race with Trudy? I can't remember. Were you win? Who won it?
The first year, Candy won it, and I came fourth. I think the second year there, I won it. So
Yes,
again, that was
yes,
another one I was
yes.
not expecting to happen, but I had to. Oh, the lip syncing was awful, and I pulled out so many different things. I remember we done one way or another, and I was putting out like boxing gloves and nunchucks and shit. And I said to my dad, "Will you get me 2 beers and just stand at the side of the stage?" And I like lifted them and shook them up, and they were spraying over everyone. I had to apologise for making them stink of beer, but it's worth it.
Well, here, you know what, Sabrina, it's you're in a league more than probably half the bloody drag scene. You've two contests on your belt already, you know. So I would say keep going,
Work away.
work
Uh,
away. Well, how's your feeling about RuPaul's Drag Race coming up? You know, me being me, I'm not a big follower of it, but what about
yeah.
yourself?
Well, whenever me and Candy and two other friends were just recently over in Los Angeles, and we got to see one of the queens from this season, Yuriko O'Hara, performing. She was quite
Oh,
good. She'll be good this season. One of my someone I've been a huge fan of for years, Charlie Hides, is announced on it, and I'm so excited. I love his
how do you
YouTube
think
videos.
he's placed? Do you think he's got made it to the top three or?
It's, I hope he has, but it's so difficult to call. Like I was watching the first 18 minutes, and it was really, really, it was kind of hard to call like what way it was going to go. One of the queens was also really liking Pheromone, and her edit that kind of had her like complaining and whining and saying like, "Oh, I don't have a space to put myself like where do I have a space?" And I was like, I really hope they don't try to like make her like a Laganja, like just whining and stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, I think out of the queens that I've seen so far from like their performances and videos and makeup, I love Charlie Hides, I love Pheromone, and I really love Aja. Aja liked one of my photos the other night on Instagram, and I made those
Yes,
everywhere.
I seen that actually, but I seen the comment, but I was like, I can't pretend I know who this person is.
Yeah, uh, she's on this season. She's kind of one of the favorites to win it. Like she's a huge, huge following. I think she's from New York, and but yes, I think she'll probably end up being top three. I think Rika could be.
I think
Charlie is
I think every sort of drag queen in the UK or Ireland is probably just hoping and praying, please let there be a RuPaul's
yeah,
Drag Race Ireland or
yeah.
UK.
There's someone I seen a post about like a Drag Race EU, and I'm not sure how much truth's in that, but I might have just been like requesting to come over here. I think RuPaul said about uh maybe trying to get a network to pick it up and bring it over to the UK, and now that he's won an Emmy,
Do you
that'll
know
probably
what
end
they
up.
could even do instead of bloody Eurovision? Do it like like all drag queens. That'd be fucking brilliant.
Yeah, no, it'd be fab. I think a UK edition like RuPaul was, and I kind of agree with him. Was saying about like UK queens could be a bit more like ruthless and stuff. Because I watched like some of the Untucked, and I was like, I think if there was an Untucked over here, it would end up in fist fights. Like it wouldn't just be someone throwing a drink. It would end up like judging a Belfast edition. Like
Right. So we'll get to our last question. Are you planning any sort of style of outfit for like Gay Pride this year, or what have you thought about it?
I have an outfit idea in mind, and I hope we can get it done in time for Pride. I have a few different ideas. I'm kind of like
Do
last year.
you like sort of like do you like walk on the parade, or would you rather be on like one of the floats or?
I've never actually got to do well, I've only been doing drag 2 years, but I've never got to do a float or any of the parades. Usually,
I
well, last year was
personally would not like to be sitting on the back of a float or being, chauffeured around the city. I'd like to be walking and mingling with the crowd and, talking to people as I'm walking past.
saying kind of like, oh, it'd be nice to walk, but then I think I'm in heels and I have to walk around city centre, so fuck that. I mean, if someone wants to like carry me, like give me a piggyback around the crowd, like I'm all for that. But I think that's the good part about a float, just getting to sit down, relax. Uh, Last year I wasn't on a float or a parade, which was kind of a blessing in disguise because I kind of thought I'd have to get up at literally 6. Like so many people were like, go up at 6 a.m. and 5, getting into drag and getting trans done. And I was like, that's not for me. It's probably I want to get up at like 2 in the afternoon and get ready and then head out to whatever it is.
Okay, so I think we've covered pretty much everything. Is there anything you'd like to say before we sort of log off?
Just thank you for having me on. It's been
Ugh.
a lovely time. I loved the first show you done. I thought it was really interesting.
Do you know what,
Uh,
Sabrina? I know you've got a wee like creative side yourself as well with your wee videos and stuff as well, and it's just another wee extension of something I like doing. So if I can do it, why the hell not?
it's been fun. I want to get me and Candy are going to be filming more episodes of Does Your Dad Still Live On soon. That's kind of got neglected. I want to get back into it. And I'm going to start doing my own stuff on YouTube, not just as Sabrina, but like as John as well. But I'll
Oh,
probably do different
definitely,
things on
definitely.
videos and stuff. So a bit more content coming up because I don't know. I started working over Christmas and then saving up for a holiday and stuff. I kind of just fell out of the habit of it, but hopefully get back into the swing of things soon.
That's it. Well, thank you for joining me tonight. Well, say tonight. It's been a pleasure. So look forward to getting the whole thing edited, and we'll be hearing from you soon.
Yeah, no,
Moving through the doorway of a nation.